as I mentioned before, that let's assume this is a foot, and then you see this line, okay? This is a kind of tendon, and this tendon grow and turn to a hand nail or foot nail, okay? Toenail. Now, when you look at that, let's say this is a right one, right foot in the first one, and let's say you have some kind of a line here, and then according to this figure, okay, this is a spleen, okay, this is spleen, okay, and this one is liver, so this one is a liver, okay, so opposite, okay, and this two and third one, that is stomach, so this one is stomach, and fourth one is a gallbladder, and this one is a gallbladder, and the last, fifth one is urinary bladder. So this is a urinary bladder. So let's assume this is the first one, and if you have a line like this one, then obviously this one is liver first, and then spleen issue. And if instead just here, then obviously this is liver alone. And then if the line like this one, then it is usually Qi deficiency. Okay, so most of them, almost I would say 80% over 40 years old, they do have this kind of thing. Now, some of them looks like let's say this one is like this one. Then what that means is so line like this one. This is the blood deficiency. The blood deficiency. So you when we diagnose that this line in here or line in here, so like a value, okay. And then most of time we know this end of toe. This is the fragile and easily breakable. So in here, and some of them is I would say most of them said, I don't feel the pain, and just a very few people, yeah, I feel the pain on tendon. Then, however, when women come to for fungus toenail, they usually do pedicure because not to show that ugly toe. Then but in order to treat this fungus toenail, they must remove this pedicure so that acupuncturists may be able to diagnose what kind of a thing in here, okay? And so some of them I because of old black toenail, and then I never went to let's say beach. Some of them say that, and some says also one or two. So they use vinegar and soak in the vinegar and all kinds of methods. And some of them said I did laser treatment. Then temporarily disappear. Then when new toenail grow, then original ugly one grow up. So what they did is they just treat symptom only, not the original cause. That's why most of the time it is waste of money, and some of them got treatment of Lamisil. This prescription hurt this liver so much. I have a liver problem. On the top of that, I get the Lamisil. Then getting worse, making worse, my liver. It doesn't make sense to me. And some of the cases they show up all this side. Okay. The problem is when you look at it in here, we are wrong. The problem was caused from here, but shows up in here. So opposite way. And some of them, some person came with a stroke, and all of them is a black color in here, but looks like here, but the original problem in here. We have to treat this side. So that is a secret of treatment of fungus toenail. Then another thing I discovered, nothing wrong. And then when I look at the Oriental horoscope, then usually it shows we call the like this one. However, this one indicate each one is 5 element, and I mentioned this one President Trump's horoscope. So I mentioned this one. Then you find out some of them no liver, no wood sign. Then this person has tendency of this fungus toenail much higher than regular person. Then another one case is that here is the nail, okay. Then some of them is there's a white basin here, okay. And while we are getting old, this getting smaller and smaller, and almost sometimes nothing left over. That is because we are getting old, unfortunately. Then another question now, that how long it will take to get rid of this old fungus toenail. If young, then maybe it take 6 months. That is earliest one. However, that we get at least like a 12 session of acupuncture treatment, and get herbal drinking. Then then they take about 12 session acupuncture and herb. Then they wait, and then about 6 months later, when the new one comes out, then original pink color will come up. But in the beginning, the thickness is very thin. then another one coming out, you will see, thicker, originally, let's say, like this one, then the next one coming out like this one. This is the thicker in here. Then this will grow up. Then eventually all thicker one. So it's taking a long time. One time, one patient came with cirrhosis, fourth stage, and I treat that and I cure them. And then on his cases, all 10 toenails is black, totally black. He got herb many months, and also many acupuncture treatment. And 2.5 years later, all this toenail disappear. Then a new one grown up. Now, usually the reason is that some of them I seen, some of them in the finger, fungus too. However, most cases just on the foot. Then I think the growth rate of the nail is hands are 2 times faster than foot. So when sometimes when you wash the hand, then you will see in over here, and then sometimes over here is the black color in there. Then I usually a toothpick, then I put it in and take it off, and then maybe this they may it may be source of fungus. So let's say causing that is let's say we need at least 500, and here is the 500, and when you remove, we don't remove 100%, but it's just the leftover 100. However, the chances are the fungus in here will be far less than without removing that. So use a toothpick, will remove that. Then this one, when you smell it, it smells so bad. So we know this is not good for the body. And then obviously this area, all this area usually is fungus grow over here because sweating, a lot of heat in there. So when you come home, then take off the socks, then wash and make it dry, and work with the bare foot in the home. I think that is a better way to remove that. And so the exercise, as I mentioned, that like this one and like this, that is about 1/3, about 33%. Okay, then acupuncture treatment is about 33%. Then herb, okay, is another 33%. And washing well, things like that, I would say that's 1%, okay? So we need, all 3 parts: acupuncture treatment, and herbal treatment, and exercise. Exercise can be done by patient, okay? And so that you do this kind of exercise every day. When you get up in the morning, you do once, and before you go to bed, you do once. And what I do is about altogether about 30 times. Okay, 30 times altogether, about 15 times this way and 15 times this way. Then the other one goes this way. Okay. Then next time I wanna show you additional one for preventing and treating fungus toenail next time. Thanks so much for your watching.